Well, hello there! Today we're going to be talking about myofascial lines, and here to help us out is our lovable assistant, Mr. Duke. He knows a lot about myofascial lines. So the first one we're going to start off talking about is the superficial back line. And that is essentially what holds us upright. It has a lot more slow twitch oxidative muscle fibers in the fascia, and it involves extension everywhere except for the knees where there's flexion. So it starts right under the balls of your feet, moves all the way up the calves, comes into the hamstrings, crosses your ischial tuberosity, goes and runs up into your spine in the erector spinae group, comes up all the way up the spine, and it actually attaches right onto your occipital bone. And a very good stretch for that is the downward dog stretch. And Mr. Duke over here, he is an expert on downward dog. He's actually who taught me how to do this stretch. So you position yourself feet hip distance apart, and you lean forward, and you pull your feet towards the ground and hang your head heavy. So this will stretch every part of that superficial back line from your toes to the tip of your head. The next line we'll be discussing is the superficial front line. So it is responsible to balance out the superficial back line and basically holds everything that gravity would be pulling forward. It's responsible for flexion of the trunk, which you would use in order to pick up your dog unless he ran away from you. And it starts right at the tops of your feet, works its way up your legs. It crosses on the ASIS and moves into your rectus abdominis all the way up to your manubrium, where it crosses to either side of your skull. And here a good stretch gets you to lay with your legs splayed on the side, and then you lean back all the way, stretching your head gaze towards the back of the room. Unfortunately, this is not an exerciseal line, it's the lateral line. So that runs on this side, and then there's one on this side. So it's actually responsible for stability of the front and the back lines, as well as the left and the right sides. So obviously, it's responsible for lateral flexion, as well as rotation. It is also a brake for when you're moving and doing exercise on this side. So it actually stops you from hyperextending that way. So it starts on your malleolus on the side, your lateral malleolus, works its way up your thigh or your calf, off your thigh, hits your iliac crest, and it kind of basket weaves across your trunk, comes up underneath your shoulder, and attaches right on the side of your ear, and that's on both sides. So very easy, simple stretch for this line is just the side stretch in the bend. So just reach to the opposite side. Do that for both sides. Really even out those myofascial lines. Okay, so next up we have the spiral line. And this line is actually responsible for stability in all planes. It kind of does a double helix and wraps itself around your body. So it starts up here, comes down, crosses over, and then lines up with the opposite leg. So it's very important when you're doing rotations and like lateral twists and stuff like that. So a very good exercise to do with this would be Duke twists. You can also use a medicine ball, but Dukes are a little bit more fun. So you get into a staggered stance, and you lean down, and then to the opposite side of your flexed leg, move this, your weight, or a Duke. And that is a great way to stretch out your spiral line. So the last two lines are the functional lines, and the difference between this and all the previous lines mentioned is the fact that the functional lines, they're not as responsible for stability as the previous lines. They're more responsible for power and movement. So they cross kind of like that, one in the front and then one in the back. So if you think about when a baseball player is pitching, that is the functional line, because they're transferring all that power from the one limb.